kind of technical knowledge stops. And today they're mostly kind of, especially now with the right now all-time high of Bitcoin, it's really all about Bitcoin. And I think that blockchain media is one of the only places where blockchain projects can really tell their story, because it's the only place possible. But I do unfortunately see a trend of a lot of blockchain media becoming crypto skeptic, as in a lot of blockchain media is feeling that they're here to cover blockchain and Bitcoin, but they're not here to cover the other cryptos and that big world as well. So that is a path that I hope that will not be as strong as I see, because there is a very vibrant community which is active, but a lot of mainstream media is missing it right now just because they have a very bad public perception of crypto as a whole. But I think that we're bridging that gap, and of course Bitcoin is doing a very, very good job. But I think that a crypto press has to give crypto a bit more chance and not just become another place for Bitcoin. And that is something that I hope that we will see evolve as well.
Thank you very much. I'll start with my second question. I mean, you guys are in a very leading blockchain media level, right? So what's your opinion on the role that blockchain media plays in the whole blockchain sector? Let's start from Tianyu. Would like to have your voice. Yeah.
Okay, sure, no problem. For me, I think blockchain media has two core roles in the whole industry.
Okay.
One is definitely the education role.
Okay.
Through blockchain media, make more blockchainer, we say, inside of the community, and understand what's exactly happening every day in our industry. At the same time, through some of the basic, the basic information sharing, give let more people understand blockchain, what is blockchain, what is cryptocurrency. Try to exploit the community little by little. This is very important. So that is the education role. Another role is the core power. I would say the core power to push blockchain industry go to the next step, which we say blockchain 3.0. So in that step, blockchain media needs to be more professional. We know we are professional. We are professional enough already, but we need to be more professional and needs more international, because information giving will be always the superpower to make the new industry go to the next step.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So here also, what is your take?
In my opinion, there are three roles of blockchain media in the whole blockchain industry. First role is balance. The development of blockchain industry needs the support of traditional technology, capital, policy, and other aspects. And blockchain is an industry with high threshold, so it is difficult for ordinary people to deeply understand its core and concept for the first time. According to statistics, at present, there are only 30 million blockchain operations in the world, according for only 1/200 of global population. This volume is still very, very small. However, blockchain media can help people outside the blockchain industry gradually understand the blockchain and industry related and reduce the threshold of participants. And second is purifier. Blockchain industry is in a period of rapid development and mixture of good and bad things, which is inevitable in the early stage of industry. As the messenger of information in the industry, blockchain media, on the one hand, imparts all kind of news, government politics, and news reports of industry in a fair, objective, and natural manner. So that the industry can understand in industry trend in a timely, comprehensively, and real way. On the other hand, it also play a role in disclosing and deterring false projects and vicious events in the industry. The publicity of good events can protect the interests of all kinds of participants in the industry and can eliminate the adverse factors of industry and purify the ecology of the whole industry. As an information carrier within the industry, blockchain media can provide the industry with timely, comprehensively, and factual understanding of industry trends, while exposing and intimidating industry false business and malicious events to the public, protecting the interests of participants in various sectors and purifying the overall ecosystem. And the third one is in adhesive and like voluntary converter are able to reach out to industry-specific news, institutions, and individuals, thus making necessary connecting and funding. And thank you.
Thank you very much. And Nicole, I would like to know how ChainDD really define their role at the blockchain media. Yeah.
Okay. There are so many, so many people in this exist in this industry.
Yeah.
Genius, the entrepreneurs and startups and cheaters, lots of people. So I think media, I think media acts as a mirror in the blockchain industry. It follows the growth and changes of the whole industry, 24/7, without taking a single break. Media constantly reflects on the darkness of the industry and spare no effort to show, newcomers a real landscape of this industry. That some kind of education, that people to know what is bad, what is wrong, what is right, what is the right way to go. So I think the mirror, we act as a mirror.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Simple but really meaningful. I mean, concept for this. I like this word, a mirror, like this. Yeah, thank you very much. Itai, so what's your idea? I mean, on this?
Sure. I think that blockchain media's role is so. I'll put it this way. I think there's a very big disconnect. There's a lot of people who want to learn about projects and a lot of projects who want to explain. But right now, the big winners of this are platforms like Medium or Telegram, where unfortunately also on the project side, I feel the discussion isn't good. It's a bit too shilly. But the media doesn't want to tell that story as well because they want news. So the problem is that projects make bullshit announcements because they think that maybe media will cover it. It's just this kind of like a vicious cycle where I feel that that is the biggest disconnect. There are a lot of people who really want to learn about what's happening, but it's or you learn it on someone's medium, and then there's no middleman, there's no filter, there's no someone who's telling the story, or you have to make these kind of announcements and pitch it. So I do feel that one of the biggest roles of media is to educate about things that are happening in the space. That has to also do with technology, and I think that right now. The biggest winners are Medium, Telegram, and WeChat, Twitter, and unfortunately not the big media outlets who are becoming a bit too obsessed with headlines and acquisitions and partnerships and are not educating enough just about the actual technology, the use cases, the different platforms. So it's something that I see as a very big gap.
Thank you very much. So you guys all know I work for Cointelegraph Group, right? So Cointelegraph as a leading media, blockchain media. I mean, we are doing literally what you guys are talking about. Okay, thank you. So let's move to our next question. We talk about the decentralized story, right? Like IPFS, those Btfs sort of things. So like these storage projects connect closely with the media. So how do you guys view its development? I mean, rather either it's community or some other things. How do you see this? Let's start with Tianyu. Yeah.
Okay, about here, I think I have more information I want to share with everyone. I think for this question, we have 2 points of views to see decentralized storage. Okay,
great.
One is about your money, one is about your money, and another one is about your data. So first, about the money part is definitely DeFi. Is becoming a very, very keyword for the whole year, even 2020. So until today, there are more than we see 2 sectors from here. One is the people, another one is the money.
Okay.
There are more than 1 million people already jumped into DeFi community, DeFi industry, right?
Yeah.
And just get the data from Cointelegraph today, Uniswap just passed 50 billion US dollar in all-time volume last week. That is crazy, incredible. And there are more than 140 billion US dollar are rolling in DeFi industry. So from these 2 numbers, we can tell DeFi is already past the first step.
Okay.
We exactly can say probably is the period before the boom coming. That is personal my understanding. So the reason is very simple. Why DeFi get a lot of attention from the whole industry? It's very simple because DeFi catch the basic needs from users, which is money self-control, right? So at the same time, DeFi will make more and more people who doesn't have the ability. We say we can tell there's a lot of poor people, especially people living in Africa, right? They don't have the right to make a centralized, let's say, exchange even account.
Yeah, with the bank system.
So DeFi will make the whole industry, whole community growing bigger and bigger. So that's why I'm so passionate about DeFi these days. Even in Japan, because my company based in Japan, Tokyo. This year, from government, from FSA, from JBA, Japan Blockchain Association, there's a lot of information came out about DeFi, and also some of the DeFi projects exactly rolling in Japan, Tokyo now. Like one, I know it's like Mulan Finance. Even depending on Japanese community, they are rolling pretty good. So this is first about DeFi. And about data, that is definitely, as you say, IPFS, Web 3.0, are the 2 keywords happening at this moment. I think just like DeFi, decentralized storage also, get the basic needs from the market. IPO needed, medium company needed, startups, even personal as a client, right? Everywhere needs decentralized storage services because it helps people grow the data security because it's so much secure, and at the same time it's cut the cost. It cuts the cost for the data storage. So very exciting to see more and more decentralized storage projects coming in the near future.
Great. Thank you very much. And Hiro, if you have anything to add here.
Basically, my idea is very similar with Tianyi Yang, because in 2020, the major focus of blockchain industry is DeFi and IPFS, Filecoin curves, and like everybody knows. And I also saw many articles these days talking about DeFi, and ADA is also doing their own DeFi project and so on. But in my personal opinion, because I'm living in Korea and I'm to take care of Korea industry, I think DeFi is very, very early stage for now, because people want to use DeFi, but they don't know how to use still. And in Korea, they are very afraid of using new things. So when Uni and Sushi and every DeFi is very like going very high, the prices goes very up, and everybody's crazy about DeFi. Korea people didn't care that much about DeFi, and for now they are trying to do DeFi, and so I think in Korea it's very very early stage, but for globally, I think for the next year or 2022, DeFi also will be very
Okay,
hot in
now
this
I
industry.
know where
Thank you.
where will be the next booming market in DeFi market. So let's go to Korea. Educate people there.
Yeah, I think it's very.
Right?
Yeah, I agree with you, but
Okay.
it's maybe very difficult.
Thank you very much. Like Nicole from HNDD, if you have anything to add for, I mean, this perspective.
Okay, if we come back to the topic of the relationship between the media and the decentralized storage, I think media doesn't have an internal connection with the essence of decentralized storage. First of all, the core mission of media is to record and to spread instead of to store. You know, lots of people can take over that duty. Even there is a need to store centralized distribution methods and physical storage are capable of catering to media's needs, you know. However, as for a business society, calculation and storage are unquestionably the basis of digitalization development and the future world. The distributed development will become a great catalyst for the rise of digitalized business and digitalized productive relations. I think the two sides of a coin. You know.
Thank you very much. And Itai, if anything to add here. Yeah.
Sure. I think that one of the really cool things that the decentralized storage brings to media is, so if, let's say 10 years ago when social media came in, and we all thought that the gatekeepers are gone and it's all going to be great and we can control our own media, we saw that we created new gatekeepers. They're called Facebook or Apple or Twitter. But now with the new, I think, possibilities, we all can become our own Facebooks and Twitters, and we can become our own networks. We can become our own monetization platforms. You see that with influencer marketing, of course, growing. So today, I think that already now we see that traditional media model of monetization doesn't work. They don't sell newspapers anymore. They moved to CPM ads, which also are not really working that day. A lot of it was based on events. A lot of crypto media was based on events, Block Show and Consensus. So we see that there's a very big opportunity, I think, for independent media creators, independent curators to become their own platforms via these technologies and monetize and create completely new channels. So I feel that decentralized storage can bring the social media revolution to lower tier people and maybe really help us break some monopolies, because I feel like the social media giants are getting just too big for us these days.
Yeah, that's all awesome. Thank you very much, guys, for sharing your excellent ideas on those questions. I mean, blockchain media taking a great role to educate people, or let's say, like as a core power, as Tianyu just mentioned. I mean, it's important, and also by delivering something to decentralize the storage, I think for content creators and communities, they will get a reward a lot by doing this. So I mean, a new monetization, as you just mentioned, also very very important. Thank you guys very much. Thank you very much for attending this event. I hope to see you soon. Let's stay tuned. Bye bye. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys, for, just following us with these two panels. We would like to go our next step. it's beyond doubt that the launch of Bittorrent X unveils a new era for Bittorrent, right? So who made the leap from a household name in data sharing to a new ecosystem supported by next generation infrastructures, including decentralized data storage like BitTorrent file system, right? In short, the Btfs, distributed application BitTorrent, and live streaming platform Dlive.tv. So next up, let's welcome Justin Cologne, head of BitTorrent product and engineering, to deliver a keynote speech titled Bittorrent X to build the next generation decentralized internet. Let's welcome Justin. Hi, Justin.
Hey.
Yeah, it's your
Good
time.
to be with you guys today.
Sure.
Yep. Great to be here. Thanks. Yeah, I'm going to tell everyone a bit about what we've been up to in the last year in terms of BitTorrent X and BitTorrent Speed and Btfs. Let me get started and give a little bit of an overview here. So in terms of BitTorrent product updates, as I said, we'll start with BitTorrent Speed, and we'll go into an overview of what it is and why you might want to use it. And then we'll move on to the growth that we've seen over the last couple of quarters and over the last year, and then some of the features that have been under development. Then I'll shift gears into BitTorrent file system and tell you guys a little bit about what that is, the same sort of format overview, why you might use it, the great growth that we've seen over the last year, and some of the features that we've built and some of the features that we have planned. So very excited to dive into this. Let's get started. BitTorrent Speed. So first, let's start by talking about the very first tokenized use case in the BitTorrent product family, BitTorrent Speed. So BitTorrent Speed is basically a feature that allows BitTorrent network participants to earn and spend BTT tokens in exchange for bandwidth. For users that are interested, they can go and download one of our torrent clients, and it's a free download, and the product will onboard you automatically and set you up with a wallet and allow you to start seeing the increased download speeds immediately. Once you've downloaded torrents, if you choose to seed them longer, then you have the capability to earn BTT tokens in exchange for seeding. This happens between two peers in the network who discover each other in a decentralized way. So we're not involved in the middle of it. They find each other, they bid for download bandwidth, and they're able to exchange these things directly with each other. So why use it? Well, because first and foremost, it enables faster downloads, which is one of the core values and one of the core things that has made BitTorrent the most popular decentralized application today, and is very much connected to how users use the product today. And after you're done downloading, it allows you to then give back to the community by seeding, which means uploading when you have a complete copy. This creates a sort of virtuous cycle that allows for a reciprocal benefit between users that can extend beyond a single torrent download. So it gives you a sort of sense of like almost like reputation or karma, or really a medium of exchange in the form of this token, so that you can earn some value for the good you do in supporting the community by seeding. So the major components of the Speed ecosystem I'll briefly describe here. First, we have the clients, and those are our release vehicle for all of our token-based use cases. This is the way that we're able to introduce BitTorrent Speed, Btfs, and all other future use cases to a very broad audience. They're one of the most popular decentralized apps, as I mentioned, and between the two torrent clients the two brands that we run, BitTorrent and uTorrent, we have the lion's share of the torrent ecosystem. So it gives us a great sort of opportunity to introduce new use cases to this vast audience of technologically sophisticated early adopters. In the case of Speed, the tokens are intimately connected with the Bittorrent protocol. So the client is trading pieces via BitTorrent, and at the same time, it is connected to a crypto wallet that I'll get into briefly in a moment, and is exchanging bidding information in order to get access to bandwidths from other peers in the swarm. Then we have BTT, which I'll talk about both for Speed and for Btfs, and which is connected to some other products within the Tron portfolio. BTT is a TRC10 cryptographic token that we use as the medium of exchange for torrent acceleration and speed, and as a staking and reward token in other platforms and other products. We'll talk about it briefly in the Btfs section. And then last, we have the Tron blockchain, which I won't go into in great detail. I think everyone here is familiar with it. So the beauty of this approach is that we can take different pieces, different of these major components, and reuse them in other products. Or we can take a piece and say, well, this piece of it, we want to introduce an entirely new application, entirely new, fundamentally different protocol. And so by separating the responsibilities in this way, we can get a good balance between being able to build on what we have, or take these individual sort of Legos and build a new and entirely different product like Btfs. So next, we'll look briefly at what this looks like in practice. So you see here we have our popular uTorrent web torrent client streaming a video, and at the same time, a user is able to set up a wallet, enter a recovery phrase, and get onboarded into the crypto ecosystem with very little friction. We've optimized the way that we introduce these users through onboarding, and we've also provided incentives in the form of optional airdrop that can be claimed, which lets them get started and see the value of the Torrent Speed product immediately. One of the things that users have asked for more recently, and that we've built in just the last couple of quarters, is a more detailed earning and spending dashboard. So by design, Bittorrent Speed works automatically in the background. Once you've installed the client and set up your wallet, it will automatically attempt to accelerate downloads for you by participating in these peace auctions with other peers. If you choose to seed, it will automatically earn. And that's very much by design. We wanted it to be something where users don't need to understand all the complexity in order for it to work. And I think that was one of the keys to its success, and we'll see the growth numbers very shortly. But people want more visibility into exactly what's going on in some cases. And so we listened to that feedback and introduced this feature. Up next, we'll talk a little bit about globalized approach to the product and how we've localized. So originally, we introduced the product in English, where our development team is able to iterate very quickly and receive feedback from users. But the Torrent Speed being a new product, that was initially the correct approach for ease of experimentation. But then we wanted to take it to our global audience, and we have a very distributed audience in many languages. And so in the last couple of quarters, we've also localized so that we have coverage of 11 of our most popular languages. And as a result, we're starting to see increased usage from users distributed throughout the world, which creates this truly global network of users who are exchanging bandwidth for these tokens. Next, I'll talk a little bit about performance. So the key value prop for users is two-sided. The first side of the coin is that you can download things more quickly by using these tokens if you choose to opt into this feature. And the other side of the coin is that you can seed in order to earn tokens. And so the first side of the coin that we tackled was download acceleration. And you can see in this graph that we're very serious about measuring performance and working to improve it. As you go from left to right in this graph, you can see that as users download more and more of a torrent as a result of bidding and interaction with other peers that have the wallet enabled, you see increased speed. So brighter colors in this graph correlate to increased download speeds. So we've seen already some pretty good performance improvements, and every day the team's working to figure out how we can compound those improvements and make it even better for users. So next I'll talk a bit about sort of growth that we've seen in speed. And so the metric that I want to focus on today is Neutron accounts that were created by Bittorrent Speed users. So earlier you saw that video, that screencast of the way that a user, while they're downloading or while they're watching content, can very easily be onboarded into setting up their wallet and getting introduced to other crypto use cases. As we've rolled that out, we've iterated, we've tested, we've made new versions of it, we've added it to different products, and we've listened to user feedback. And as we've increased the rollout, we've seen more and more Tron accounts being created by those Speed users. So the team recently crossed a milestone of more than 1 million Tron accounts, on-chain accounts created by users of Bittorrent Speed. The current value is about 1.2 million, and it's growing every day. At the peak volume, this represents a significant chunk of the daily Tron account creation, and it's testament to our ability to add new users to the Tron family and to the Tron use cases. I mentioned also that we offer this incentive for users to claim the airdrop to get started right away. And in tandem with setting up the accounts, many users are claiming that airdrop and getting introduced by starting out with some BTT that they can use to accelerate downloads. Now that we've talked about speed, let me shift gears and cover Btfs briefly. So Btfs, what is it? So at a high level, it is this. It's a decentralized file storage and sharing network, which connects the Tron blockchain, the BTT token, and the Bittorrent ecosystem. Distinct from Speed, where Speed is actually directly connected to the Bittorrent protocol, this is something where there is a new protocol, there is a sort of new use case, and so it's the first one where we're introducing Bittorrent users in a way where they can not only download and have a market for their bandwidth, but they can also participate in the storage network. So that takes me to point 2. It's the first scalable decentralized storage network that's backed by about 100 million Bittorrent users. And it's a tokenized payment system based on that BTT TRC10 token. Now, the nodes in Btfs are split between 3 roles, potentially with overlap. One is that of miners who secure the network. Next, you have storage hosts, which is, as you'd expect, people who store files on behalf of others and have to submit responses to challenges and prove that they are good custodians and hosts for that data. And then file renters who are participating in this market by renting storage as opposed to bandwidth in the case of Torrent Speed using the BTT token. So why use it? The advantages as compared with traditional cloud technologies and also to many competitors in the decentralized space are, 1, there's no centralized entity control. So your data belongs to you, and you can put it in the edge of the network as opposed to trusting a centralized storage provider like AWS or Google Cloud Platform or Azure with the storage of your data. There's data privacy enabled through encryption and anonymity within the node network. There is a high level of availability and reliability of the distributed hosts. And this is largely because of our ability to take BitTorrent nodes and allow those users to opt into the Btfs system. There's also a very low cost of storage as compared to traditional cloud storage, and it is an open source community which is very developer friendly. Moving on to growth, Btfs user base has seen very healthy growth since it was introduced in April of this year. We're now at about 200K plus daily active users, 500K plus monthly active users. That open source community that I mentioned has more than 1,000 developers, and the network is secured by over 5,000 highly active miners. So as we go forward into this new BitTorrent era, Btfs is supporting the set of features that you see here. So you have decentralized file storage and mining, decentralized file repair and mining. So if miners are able to ensure that the network stays robust. So in any distributed system like this, you're going to have some level of pure churn. So people might agree to store a file, but leave the network. So their share of the file is not necessarily present in the form that they had it, but there's a reconstruction repair mechanism that allows it to be recreated by the still existing shares on the network. Decentralized challenge in mining. So challenges prove that the storage is intact and that the storage contract guarantees are being honored by hosts. A renter UI. So this is the interface that allows people to name their price and enter into storage contracts with the network, and staking-based rewards. So there are still other technical hurdles to cross before we'll be able to build all of these things, but based on the rate of growth that we've had over the last year, we should be able to make very good progress on this. So let me get through the rest of this. So stay tuned to announcement channels, and we'll talk more about feature releases and include more instructional tutorials in the documentation. And that's it today. Thank you very much for your time. I really enjoyed telling you guys a bit about what we're doing with Torrent Speed and with Btfs.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you for your presentation here. I mean, as Bittorrent X marks a big stride towards a fully decentralized internet. Let's looking for the next step. So we are confident that the Bittorrent X ecosystem will soon introduce blockchain tools to over billions of devices and benefit hundreds of millions of users with the next generation tools. Let's start our next speech. So in December 2019, Dlive formed a strategic partnership with Bittorrent and officially began its integration with the Tron ecosystem. In October 2020, Bittorrent announced the Dlive acquisition and official Bittorrent X ecosystem. So today, with its official acquisition by Bittorrent, Dlive will become an essential part of the Bittorrent ecosystem. Powered by the technologies and the resources offered by Bittorrent, so Dlive will continue to grow its passionate community and enable its contents to truly empower content creators and reward communities. So next up, let's welcome CEO of Dlive, Charles Wayne, to share with us the new Dlive protocol to power live streaming content creator. Let's welcome Charles. Hey, Charles.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, it's your time.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. We're live on Dlive. Nice to see everybody here. So today we'll have some updates about what happened for Dlive in 2020 and what's going to happen for Dlive in 2021, the new Dlive. And also I will be introducing it's called Dlive Protocol. It's a new decentralized service to empower content creators and reward the communities. So let's get started. Since the merger happened in December 2019, Dlive has been playing an important role in the Bittorrent ecosystem. Dlive TV provides a platform for live streaming content, connecting more than 200,000 active content creators and over 7 million viewers across the globe. For the past year, we have integrated a lot of features with the Bittorrent ecosystem, including BTT staking, donate with BTT, and hosting past broadcasts with Btfs. And also, we've covered 50 countries in total. For the new Dlive TV in 2021, we will continue to focus on our mission to empower content creators and reward communities. We will then expand our community to more countries, and also we'll start to work on bringing more crypto-related content to Dlive, while we're keeping our existing gaming community here. And also for 2021, we have partnered with some very notable brands to work on the mobile streaming, to bring a different streaming experience for our content creators on mobile, and also for viewers as well. For Dlive, while we're working on growing Dlive TV, today we're excited to introduce a new way of live streaming. We call it Dlive Protocol. Well, Dlive Protocol is not built by the Dlive team. However, it's built by a group of people who are truly passionate about decentralization and freedom of speech. It consolidates a peer-to-peer network that allows content creators to share live content without going through any centralized servers. The mission of Dlive Protocol is to decentralize the content sharing. It will become an open protocol to support the freedom of speech, bringing bringing a disruptive solution to the digital media space, and also create value for the global community. So in the next couple minutes, I will show you a video that demonstrates how this Dlive protocol works. So let's get started here. As you can see, this is so you're using a Chrome browser, right? Assuming you already have the Dlive protocol client installed. Now, as a creator, you can start to create your channel. So you put your user display name here, and then you put the stream title, and then about info. The user experience, well, except for UI, is pretty similar to the current Dlive.tv. However, like I say, it's a peer-to-peer network, and all the live streaming content does not really go through any centralized servers. So you stream here, you start your stream, you just update the info about your stream, and then you follow the instruction here. It works with OBS, which most of our streamers are using now. So you will have a stream key. Now you can go to your OBS, and then in the stream key section, put your stream key. But the server is not going to any server. It's not going to Dlive TV servers. It's going to your local host. And then click on OK, and then start streaming. Well, sometimes you will need to grant the system additional permission to get started. Then you can see in this screen, the stream has already started. That's it. You just created a peer-to-peer live streaming network by yourself. And now, if you want to edit anything, if you want to add more info or change any info about your stream, you can feel free to do it without any issue. And then you can see there's a stream chat feature. I will explain more about this stream chatting feature in the later part of this video. So, well, you can see pretty much the user experience is except for UI, because the current product is still in alpha stage. But in the stream info section, you can share your link. See, this is a magnet link. So unlike the traditional HTTPS website address, you need this magnet link. And then you can share it with your viewers. Your viewers using this link, they will need to have the Dlive protocol client installed on their PC as well. And then they will be able to open this link. And then the next step, we will show you how the viewers, okay, so from a user's perspective, how are you going to join a channel? So you can see in this section, it's a homepage of this software. You paste the stream link here, which is the link you got from your streamer, from your favorite streamer. So you paste it here, and then start to watch. It takes some time to load, but pretty fast. And that's it. So currently we're showing you one of our largest streamers in Turkey, Elena. She is playing Cyberpunk. So you can pretty much see the user experience here. And what I can tell you is you just joined the peer-to-peer live streaming network created by this content creator. You are not visiting any website. You are not visiting dlive.tv to enjoy this content. And as a viewer, just like you, when you use other centralized live streaming services, you can chat, you can engage with the content creators. So what's interesting about the chatting part is actually all the chat messages are also in this peer-to-peer network, which means the chat messages, the chatting history is not going through, will not go through any centralized servers. So it's a peer-to-peer network, not just for live streaming, but also the chat room feature as well. As I mentioned, the Dlive Protocol is still under at the alpha stage. We're working with multiple streamers to test out, and the public beta will be released soon in 2021. And also, the next step is we will be adding the donation feature, and the donation feature will only supports BTT and TRX, which allow content creators to monetize. So yeah, that's how it works. That's you just need to we look forward to sharing this new product with you guys in earlier 2021, and we hope everybody enjoys it. Thank you. That's all from me.
Yeah, thank you, Charles, for sharing here. I'm sure
Okay.
Dlive will be well integrated into the Bittorrent ecosystem and introduce disruptive innovation to digital media to create the value for global communities. So let's stay tuned.
All right. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Yeah. So see you next round. Yeah. So the cloud storage industry is growing at an explosive rate as demand for low-cost data storage solutions is rising. As we know, IPFS or Btfs, as we just discussed. However, traditional storage systems have many inherent flaws like centralized trust or lock-in effect and poor fault tolerance, right? So this is when Btfs comes into play. By integrating the Tron network, so Tron-grade service, Bittorrent network, and the BTT token, Btfs comes up with a perfect solution, a decentralized file storage service where everyone can contribute a share, which is highly likely to change the way individuals and enterprises process data. Next up, we will have a panel discussion titled The Rise of Btfs, a Decentralized Storage System featuring. So let's welcome our panel guests, Charles Wayne, again from Dlive, and Justin Knoll and Eric Chen. So welcome you guys.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
So I think we are here. Let's start. We'll start go straight forward to our first question. In order to build a distributed storage network that's accessible to everyone, so we should focus on how to lower the threshold for users when designing technical and economic models, right? So how is this reflected in the design of Btfs technical and economic models? So I would like to have your three ideas. Let's start from Charles. Yeah.
Well, I think Btfs demonstrated a good way of how to lower the barrier for users to get started.
Yeah.
Essentially, there is an easy to use interface for nodes to get started, and then developers can easily integrated with their existing storage solutions, such as AWS and other services. Meanwhile, with BTT tokens, all participants in the network are rewarded sufficiently.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So Justin, if you have anything from your side, to share with us.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think generally the way to make distributed systems and blockchain technology something that can be available to everyone and that can really reach mass adoption is to build bridges and to smooth the transition from use cases that people are already familiar with to these new use cases, which can be a little bit confusing or daunting at first, and to try to engage users in a progressive way. So in Btfs's case, I think a couple of examples of that pattern are providing an HTTP gateway and a CDN to allow user access initially. So instead of forcing someone that wants to, read an article to go and install a Btfs full node and understand how the whole system works, your first engagement can be just to click on a link and see it in a web browser. And behind the scenes, under that HTTP gateway, it's all fully decentralized. Now that introduces for that on-ramp, for that use case, there's a single point of failure now, or like a few points of failure if you have a number of different HTTP bridges. But it gets people in the door, and then from there, maybe they become interested in a browser extension or running a local node or getting more invested in the understanding and engaging with the system. And once you get people across that bridge, you create incentives for browser makers to bake it right into the web browser and for it to become a part of the whole ecosystem, the same way that the transition from Web 1 to Web 2 came about through browsers. Like a limited set of browsers supported the capabilities that you needed for it, and then users started to demand it, and now it's everywhere, and we're on to the next generation.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So Eric, as a Btfs technical lead, so I really would like to have your voices here. This.
Yes, sure. So technical-wise, Btfs is providing easy access to its core operations through a web-based UI, a HTTP REST API, and also command line operations, satisfying different kinds of needs for different user bases for them to get into the network and ecosystem. And it also has what Justin also mentioned, the gateway CDN services for new users to get to know what's going on with the decentralized scene before diving deeper and getting on board. So they can easily install a Btfs package afterwards on Windows, Mac, and Linux with easy to use guides. So these are the barriers we're trying to lower. And also as a developer friendly project, we have the source code available for people to read and also reuse and contribute to, and the documentation are also open to public access. So economically, we believe that pricing is one important part. So we've leveled the network to be storing TBs of data per month. That's a third of what centralized solutions are currently offering, without sacrificing availability and reliability, which are also important for users who store persistent files on the network. Finally, there is also incentive miner program for rewarding hosts who continuously provide highly available shard storage to the file space renters. So all of these are covered economically by the Btfs network for incentives.
Thank you very much. So my next question, I'm going to ask Justin and Eric on this matter. So as we know, miners, nodes, and token holders are all stakeholders, right, for this whole network. And they make safe and stable operation and sustainable development at the core of a distributed storage network. So in terms of delivering fair community governance to a wider audience, so what are the plans and accomplishments of Btfs, and how will such integration benefit each other? So let's start from Justin.
Yeah, I think in the case of Btfs and making sure that we have fair community practices in terms of management and governance, the key has been to release a flexible solution very quickly, and then to iterate based on a careful reading of the user and community feedback. So it's impossible to anticipate every type of user, every use case, every environment that people will be using the product in.
Yeah.
So you need to bake some adaptability into your technical solution and your plans. And that's really the only way to win. In Btfs's case, we've seen a lot of user growth as a result of the mining rewards program that we talked about earlier.
Oh.
But more importantly, there have been a lot of lessons from releasing that program that have been folded into the next version of the rewards program, and that have already been, some of which have already been implemented, and some of which Eric and the team have planned. And I think those changes will increase the overall efficiency and fairness of the governance system. And I think Eric can probably speak to that in more detail.
Yeah, thank you very much, Eric. So, Justin, just cue to you.
Yeah. So this July, Btfs launched one of the first governance program, which is decentralized storage network mining program in the space. And we've since increased our user base by 3x, with hundreds of active developers joining in daily discussion. Together, we've made adjustments on how the node scores should be calculated, how mining rewards should be distributed, how fraudsters should be thwarted. So the stability of the Btfs network governance depends on the feedback from miners, the nodes, and also the token holders together. So beginning of early next quarter, we will also launch new staking-based mining rules that will better stabilize the quality storage providers and distribute fair rewards to all the participants. So given the early feedback and suggestions made by many of our miners and token holders, I believe this community is going towards the right direction of better governance for a decentralized network.
Thank you very much. My next question, as we just mentioned, as a blockchain-based digital economy and DeFi, both, witnessing exponentially growth, right? So is Btfs aimed at integrating other blockchain sectors to create new use cases in its exploration for the infrastructure of the Web 3.0 era? Or how will such integration benefit each other? So let's start with Charles. Maybe you have something to share with us.
Yeah, I believe there will be huge opportunities for Btfs in the era of Web 3.0 and DeFi. I think Btfs will become one of the most important infrastructures in the blockchain space for a decentralized project to build their apps and connect the data between blockchain and the real world accounting pieces.
Thank you very much. And Justin, do you have anything to share?
Yeah, I think Charles has it right. There's going to be a lot of growth, and there's going to be a lot of a lot of moves to be made and plays to be made in this space. I think it's critical to keep in mind that we're still at the beginning of the beginning in terms of blockchain technology, distributed systems, and Web 3.0. And so if you look back at the first sort of web boom and Web 2.0 eras, and technology even before that, there's always no prediction. There's no shortage of people willing to make predictions, but like most predictions, they turn out to be wrong. And then there's only a few that are right. So I think it's useful not to look so much at specific use cases or like this DeFi product or this token, and instead to look at primitives, because the primitives are going to be there, whatever direction it takes. And so we're going to need things like units of value and units of account, units of identity, units of execution, distributed messaging, distributed storage. And that last one, storage, I think is where Btfs is aimed at providing that primitive and providing a very general and scalable primitive that can cover the use cases that we know about today. Where I think the sort of like simple model is to look at other products, like look at cloud storage like AWS and say, okay, well, we could decentralize that, or to look at personal storage or sync like Dropbox or personal backups and say, okay, we could decentralize that. But I'm sure that there will be new use cases that we can't even think about or anticipate today. And so the challenge for Btfs and the team is to make sure that we can cover those tomorrow. And I think Eric and the team have done a good job of doing that. And I look forward to seeing what emerges.
Thank you. And Eric, if you have echo on this, yeah.
Yeah, definitely echoes both what Charles and Justin mentioned. I believe Btfs is no doubt very open to integrating with DeFi and other blockchain-based projects. In fact, Btfs is already being used in the just DeFi ecosystem products already. So many blockchain projects, no matter which sector it belongs to, they all benefit from using Btfs as their storage of data. So Btfs would not only just be the data infra layer, but also tightly integrated with them to create newer use cases we haven't seen in the past. So it's definitely exciting to see these endless possibilities of moving traditional enterprise layer storage out of to more flexible, more private, and more reliable decentralized storage. So definitely more exciting things to come.
Okay, thank you guys very much for your time, and also thanks for sharing your insights. So for all our users looking for a better storage service, the Btfs, I think it definitely will be your must-have. Okay, stay tuned with us. Thank you guys very much. See you soon, hopefully. Bye-bye. Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
We talk about DeFi again, right? DeFi is a most trending word for the blockchain industry in 2020. So the rise of decentralized lending drives the surge in DeFi projects, a booming DeFi. So how should we adapt to the changing ideas and investment targets? Brandon, co-founder and the CTO of Ampleforce, so can't wait to share with us his ideas. So let's welcome Brandon. Hello, Brandon.
Hi. Thanks for inviting me. Happy to be here.
So it's your time.
Oh, great. Yeah, so my name is Brandon. I'm one of the co-founders of the Ampleforce project. I'm excited to be here to talk about Ample and how it's coming to Tron. So it's looking like the deployment onto the Tron network will be the first time Ample will be made available to users beyond the bounds of our first Ethereum chain. So this is a big moment for both projects. So I'm excited to tell you guys about it and how it's going to work. So I'll start by talking about Ample itself, what it is and what makes it special. And then if there's time at the end, I'll dig into some of the technical details about the integration and how it's going to work and what it's going to look like. So let me share my screen here real quick. Okay, can you see this this slide? Okay, well, I'm just going to go with it. So Ample is a base money digital currency with an elastic supply, right? So if there's three takeaways that I hope people get from learning about Ample the first time, it would be these three. So Ample is uncollateralized in the same way that Bitcoin is, or any fiat currency is. It has some unique qualities that we've never really seen together before in the same asset. So one is
Hey,
it's
Brandon.
non-dilutive.
Hello, Brandon. Sorry to disturb you. So we couldn't see your slide. So can you just try a bit?
Sure.
Yeah. Because in the screen, I cannot see your slides. Can you play again?
Okay, I'll try it again here. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems a little bit. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Just waiting,
Okay.
Brandon. Replay the PPT.
So I'm sharing.
Yeah.
I'm sharing my screen through Zoom. Can you see it now?
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah,
okay.
It works now.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Ample has an elastic supply that adjusts every day according to demand in the marketplace, right? So the unique way that supply adjusts is that whenever new tokens or Ample get created, it goes to everyone on the network proportional to what they own. And when it gets removed from the network, it comes from everyone proportional to what they own. So what this means is that everyone has equal standing in the system, right? It's completely non-extractive, so there's no individual or party that extracts seigniorage, the profits that you get from printing money. It's distributed and shared across the entire network. And then the other resulting quality of this method of adjusting supply is that it's non-dilutive the same way Bitcoin is, right? So it has that same soundness property that everyone likes so much about Bitcoin and other commodities and precious metals. And then also because the supply adjusts every day according to demand, it means that there's also a long-term equilibrium unit of account, right? So this is very important. So this unlocks many use cases for Ample that don't exist so much for Bitcoin. And it also has some very nice properties when you compare it to stablecoins. So I'll get into both of those soon. But here, first, there's a sort of quick illustration about how it might look. So the Ample Fourth protocol is defined by the supply policy that takes market information through an Oracle system, and we're partnered with Chainlink to get this market data. So every day, up to once per day, the supply can change. We call this the rebase operation. So when the 24-hour volume weighted average price of Ample is above the price target, it means that there is not enough supply to meet demand, so we increase supply. And then when the price is below the target, it means that we decrease supply. So you can see that in this simple animation here. So effectively, that seeks to shift volatility from unit price to unit count. So I think when you're thinking about Ample, it is sort of a new asset we've never seen before. So it often takes people a while to wrap their head around it and what it means. I think the easiest way to really understand what's going on is to compare it to both Bitcoin and to stablecoins. So here's a very simple example about how Ample unlocks the safe denomination of debt and how you can use it for stable contracts, right? So our goal for Ample Fourth is really to create a new financial building block that can support a more robust and resilient financial system on top. So in this example, say you were to borrow, 1 Bitcoin from your friend for a year, right? And you're going to pay it back a year from now. Now, as we all know, the volatility of Bitcoin is very high, right? Because it's deflationary, it's fixed supply, it's unable to respond to the needs of the marketplace. And so every marginal change in demand results in a marginal change of price. And so a year from now, we don't know whether the price of Bitcoin will be, $25,000 or $10,000. We've definitely seen swings that large, right? So if you borrow Bitcoin now, and then the price of Bitcoin doubles, then as the borrower, you're on the hook for twice as much purchasing power as you thought you would be. And so you're at very high risk of default. So once people start defaulting on loans, that can have cascading failures across the rest of the financial ecosystem. And because just the nature of the currency being a medium of exchange, if everyone across the entire globe is dealing with something like Bitcoin and borrowing it, there's correlated risk here, right? So if one person defaults, then it's very likely that lots and lots of other people will default. So that's a very dangerous situation that scares any insurance adjuster. Right? They try to avoid correlated risk as much as possible. Now, in Ample's case, if you were to borrow, say, 100 Ample, then you always know how much you're going to be responsible for paying back in the future, right? Because no matter what happens to the overall demand for Ample, the market cap and supply of Ample could grow drastically, 2x, 5x, 10x, or shrink too. But you always know, because you denominate your stable contracts with Ample's stable unit of account, how much purchasing power you'll be responsible for paying back, right? So if I borrowed 1,000 Ample now, 1 year from now, if the market cap of Ample doubled, I would still have to pay back exactly the same amount, plus interest. So this is one specific quality that allows Ample to be a building block for a much safer financial ecosystem, both decentralized finance and traditional finance. Now, some people then go on and ask, well, what's the difference between Ample and stablecoins? Because stablecoins also have a unit of account that is a very useful property. And so there is two kinds of stablecoins. There's and they each have their downfalls and risks. So the first type of stablecoin, dollar collateralized stablecoin, Tether, that I'm sure you're all familiar with. They rely on centralized banking relationships, right? So there's a bank somewhere that holds the dollars behind the tokens. So that's a point of risk, right? A single point of failure, and a single point of trust. And then the more algorithmic style stable coins like Make or Die, or other projects like that. These rely on collateral systems, which are essentially debt marketplaces. And we've all seen historically what can happen to these sorts of marketplaces in just normal history, right? So over and over again, we've seen failures of market and black swan scenarios, but also at the country level. And even in very, very safe markets like repo markets, repurchase agreements that are overnight, fully collateralized. Sometimes we see liquidity shortfalls there, right? So if you have a financial building block that itself relies on another marketplace, that is another source of risk. And then also it has the same sort of correlated market risk scenario that we're hoping to avoid. So Ample is able to give you a stable unit of account without having to banking relationship and without having to rely on lenders of last resort who would have to come in and bail out the system if needed. So that's the high level of Ample. We have a lot more economic information on our site that I encourage people to go look at. And then, so now I'm happy to dive into how Ample is going to work with Tron. So right now, this is the overall architecture of Ample on Ethereum. There's three main modules. There is the Oracle, the supply policy, and the token itself, the ERC20. So the ERC20 is the Ample that you trade and transfer. So every day, the market Oracle gets data about the price of Ample and then reports it to the supply policy or the monetary policy that makes the decision about how to adjust the supply. Then the monetary policy instructs the token about how to increase or decrease the supply of Ample. So if we were to extend this across chains, what would that look like, right? So, a monetary asset is defined by two qualities. It's defined by the nature of its scarcity. So in our case, that's the supply policy. And it's defined by its use value, right? And so Ample being a pure monetary asset, it's not subject to external biases or fluctuations from non-monetary use, which makes it a very clean, very efficient, very predictable monetary asset. So if we want Ample on both, say, Ethereum and Tron, as long as anyone can transfer Ample between both locations, and as long as the Ample on both locations respond to the same supply policy, then they're all the same Ample, right? So it doesn't really matter. This is, in particular where you are. So, Ample on Tron will be a first-class citizen, just like anywhere else it's been before. So I think that's really exciting. This unlocks Ample as a potential value highway between different ecosystems, and because Ample is not tied to any particular blockchain, it also makes it a very promising chain agnostic money and store of value. So I don't know how much time I have left. Beyond here, it gets a little bit more into the technical details. I'm happy to keep going, or I can stop if we're short on time. Okay, I'll keep going. So this is a generic bridge, right? You can see, there's two different chains here and the bridge in between. So in general, the easiest way to think about bridges is that you call some function on a handler on one side that gets written to an event log, and then relayers pick up that event and then transfer it over to the bridge on the other chain that gets reported to that handler. So it's fairly straightforward in theory. The details do get kind of difficult. So here you can see, one Ample transferred from beginning to end. It starts with the depositor on the left side and ends on the right side. And then also it shows how it works in the case where, the Ample supply itself is changing, right? So you can imagine there's some interesting security details here that you do have to be aware of. So, we want to avoid people being able to exploit race conditions. So for example, if someone were to get a rebase on one chain and then race their coins by doing a transfer to the other chain before the rebase message gets there, then they'll be able to get two rebases if it's positive, or they could potentially avoid a rebase completely if it's negative. So we need to avoid that case. And so the way we handle that is we send along an extra payload of data, which just tells the receiving side, what the total supply was at the time of transfer. So it can, credit or debit the correct amount when that happens. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same as what you saw in the previous diagram. If you were to transfer from, say, Ethereum to Tron, then your tokens get stored into this safe here, or the vault, on the left-hand side. So you get locked up by the bridge, and then it mints new Ample on the other side, on Tron, for the user. And then the rebase is very similar, except it's, instead of value transfer, it's just a single generic function call. For us, both the transfers and the rebases are both generic function calls. That's the easiest way for us to think about it. The other wrinkle is that we have an orchestrator here that just notifies all the potential downstream platforms that a supply adjustment has taken place. Right, so we have that on Ethereum, and then we also have that on Tron. So there you go. I think that's a pretty high-level view of the project and how it works with Tron. We're really excited to make this happen and bring Ample to all the Tron users as quickly as we can. We're hoping to have that ready to go in Q1, early Q1 of this year. Yeah, I don't know how much time I have left. Happy to answer questions, or I could keep on going at some appendix slides.
Yeah.
How are we on time?
Yeah, Brandon, you can keep it talking. Still go with your presentation.
Sure, sounds good. Yeah, so this is a little bit more about our motivation, which I talked on earlier. Is can we create a Evan and I, our curiosity got captured in the early days of Bitcoin, right? And this was the first time where anyone could generate scarcity, right? Which was very exciting. It's a very difficult problem to solve in computer science. And so we thought the potential for this was very exciting, but there were some things that we didn't like so much about the existing systems. Back then, it was just Bitcoin. In particular, the sort of lack of unit of account and inflationary nature, we think didn't lead to a healthier financial ecosystem, right? We, at least within the US, we moved off of the gold standard for very good reasons, because it was reaching market failure. If we try to just recreate that again, we shouldn't expect anything different. And so once Ethereum came out, we saw another tool set that could allow us to create new financial primitives to solve some of these problems. And so that's sort of the guiding vision of everything that we're working on. And so the creation of Ample is an asset we've never really seen before in any marketplace. That allows new use cases, one of which I talked about earlier in the lending case. And so it means that we can potentially do lots of new things with finance itself, right? So we sort of call this elastic finance. So right now we're focused on building up the stack of elastic finance, which includes the base level liquidity. So encouraging a highly liquid market for Ample. So like monetary assets are defined by their use value and their scarcity, and their efficiency is measured by liquidity, right? If you want to be able to borrow and lend Ample, you need to have confidence that you can enter and exit positions easily and efficiently. So liquidity is the base of the stack. Lending, of course, is sort of the engine of so much financial activity, and also fuels derivatives. And then we view this existing across all chains. So I think one thing that makes Tron interesting is the ecosystem that is being built up there, including the AMM, Just Swap, and the stablecoin and lending platforms. So we hope that we can support all of those applications going forward. Now, the other thing that makes Ample interesting from a holder perspective is that we think it's very likely to be uncorrelated with other digital currencies, right? So if you look at the market of digital currencies so far, they're all very highly correlated with each other, right? So if Bitcoin goes up, then everything else goes up. If Bitcoin goes down, everything else goes down too, especially when you're looking at purely monetary assets, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Zcash, all those. And there's lots of reasons for this. One of which is, they don't have very many, concrete market use cases right now. So they're still kind of speculative assets, but also they all follow the exact same set of rules. I mean, the same monetary policies. They sort of fixed supply. I mean, they have an emission curve, but a long-term fixed supply. And so you shouldn't expect them to be any different from each other. And so if they're all sort of the same, from a just purely, economics perspective, they're sort of interchangeable, right? So with Ample, because it responds to different set of rules, we expect it will move differently. And so this is what we spent most of our second white paper exploring. We wrote this before launch. Ample has been launched since the summer of 2019. And since then, it has definitely played out that way. The correlation has been very low. So what does this mean? This means that it actually makes sense to hold Ample in a portfolio, right? So if you hold Bitcoin, there's probably not much reason to hold anything else if it moves exactly the same. But if you hold an uncorrelated asset, then you can increase your Sharpe ratios, portfolio metrics, and reduce overall risk, because everything Ample and BTC aren't guaranteed to move exactly the same way. Which also means that if you use Ample as collateral in a basket of assets, then your collateral is safer potentially and can reduce risk long term. So this was the movement pattern that we sort of theorized in the white paper. This was published in collaboration with some economists at the Hoover Institute of Stanford University. So this is how we expect it to work. So on the left, you can see a sort of price series where, within the band of the equilibrium, it can sort of oscillate up and down, from T0 to T1, nothing happens to supply. As soon as it goes outside of that band, then the supply starts to change. Then the market cap is the product of these. And so you see a peak, right, which is a point of arbitrage where market actors who are seeking profit can, through activities in the marketplace, get profit and help the system return back to equilibrium. So if we look at the history of the price so far, it does seem to be playing out this way, which is very exciting for us to see. And here you see the market cap too. So we're going to keep on looking at this data. We also published some statistics on our dashboard, ampleforth.org/dashboard that I encourage everyone to see. Shows the entire history of the system. And I think just looking at that data gives you a good sense for how the system works and what it's doing.
Thank you very much, Brandon, for your keynote sharing here with us. So the new blockchain year, not only opportunities with us, but also lots of risks, right? So we have witnessed the rise and the rapid growth of many premium projects, as well as many who drawn to traditionals and got left far behind by the changing times. So adapting to trends is key to success in the blockchain spaces. Thank you very much again for your sharing here. Hope to see you soon. Public chain is a fiercely contested area. So every public chain project will have to keep a close eye on cross-chain DeFi networks, right? So now let's welcome Stan logged home from Waves to deliver his speech, The Future for Technology-Driven Public Chains. So the future of cross-chain DeFi networks. So let's welcome Stan. Hey, Stan.
Hey, good evening here. Good afternoon for everyone else on the other side of the world.
Great, it's your time.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I've been enjoying the past conversations. A lot of similar topics, similar ideas to what we are trying to achieve, and it's pretty cool to see, for me personally, the launch of Bittorrent X and the whole streaming integration. I think it's a great extension of and a real, let's say, real world use case of what we could achieve with blockchains. It's a pretty cool take on the paradigm shift of the Web3 idea. And that's also what I'd like to talk about today. So I think some of you must have seen over the summer, Tron and Waves have partnered. Now I'm the strategic advisor to the Waves Association, and I could from quite closely see how some of the ideas of the Tron Foundation, what Tron is trying to achieve, are very closely aligned with Waves as an ecosystem is trying to achieve. And I think, and as you can see, it's essentially a goal of enhancing the future of decentralized finance. Now, it's quite, let's say, a big terminology, but I'll try to explain a little bit on what that means from a practical perspective and what it means from a technical actual implementation. So I think over the summer, both ecosystems committed to growing our audience. And I think we're both very focused on blockchain-based innovation, on this exploring real-world use cases, but mainly we're aiming at speeding up blockchain-based adoption or mass adoption in that sense. And I think it's a special day today because we're finally crossing that 20K while this stream started. So I think it's a special day, not just obviously for BitTorrent product launch, but also because it's kind of a confirmation of this whole visionary idea of trying to achieve this adoption in the future. But the fact that we're crossing this peak again is extremely interesting for us because, and I mean us as an industry, because it's a confirmation that this whole innovation-driven finance or blockchain-based finance is sort of in the wrong path. And of course, we need to start somewhere. And I think we had a similar conversation with Tron over the summer, like what can we achieve in the short run that enables this vision? And then how can we expand in a later stage? So what we're both very focused on is this whole cross-chain capacity for both of our ecosystems, both for Waves and for Tron. And it was the most achievable for us to achieve that through Gravity, which is a protocol inside the Waves ecosystem that's focused on cross-chain communication, but in a very unique sense, because it doesn't have its own token. So it's a communication protocol that focuses on data transfer, token transfer, but mainly it's focused on data oracles. And what we could do with that, it allows for Tron to connect to a core protocol. And to that core protocol, also Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Waves, and a set of other partners are connected to that chain. And that opens up bridges for any user of Tron or Bittorrent or Just Token or any of the other, like, let's say, Tron ecosystem dApps or tokens or users to essentially get a bridge into the whole, let's say, wide world of Ethereum and all those other chains. Now, it also means that all the tokens that are on Gravity can be cross-chain interoperable. So it opens up essentially a whole range of asset transfers, dApp communication. And I think Tron as well is building a whole network or range of DeFi products that are very attractive to Waves users. So Tron has done an excellent job in the whole Tether implementation of essentially porting Tether into the Tron network and then using the specific characteristics of Tron to make faster and cheaper or, well, free Tether transfers. And I think it's a very similar approach to what Waves is also focused on. So I think what we're seeing now is that the mainnet integration of Tron into Gravity will go live like early January, and it's already live in testnet. And I think we're sort of touching on that similar vision, and I'd like to elaborate a little bit on what that vision is for Waves, essentially. And I've put it there in the top. We call that in DeFi, and in DeFi is essentially interchain DeFi, because I think that we're seeing a very big growth spurt or we've seen that over the summer, and we're still seeing it in specific parts of our industry. And the issue that we still have is that a lot of the really cool tech doesn't communicate with anything outside of its own bubble. And that's kind of what we're trying to break. And that's also why we're not trying to focus just on the DeFi aspect of it, but really opening up that bridge, communicating from a technical perspective with Tron, with Ethereum, with other chains. And that's kind of what Gravity envisions inside our own ecosystem. It's like a low barrier, blockchain agnostic. So any chain could join, but it's also token agnostic. So it doesn't have its own token, but it uses the tokens of the networks that it's connected to. But it allows the whole Waves ecosystem to step into other ecosystems and vice versa. So it increases the adoption that we're trying to go for. But we also know that this communicational infrastructure that we're opening up, it's not sufficient, let's say, to just have that communication. We need to put those first milestones in that, let's say, foundation. And that's kind of what Neutrino is for the Waves ecosystem. And before I dive too far into how Neutrino works, because it's quite specific, I'd like to run some numbers by you, because it always sort of gives a very good view of what it does. So Neutrino it's essentially an assetization protocol or a stablecoin protocol. And one of the presentations earlier on like how Ample is a different stablecoin than some of the others. And one thing I'd like to re-emphasize is that there's a very big difference between, let's say, fiat or traditionally backed currencies and currencies that are, in a sense, algorithmic, whether they are backed with crypto or whether they are backed with, let's say, value. But that's essentially where the innovation in the near future for stablecoins will be. And that's what Neutrino is. So Neutrino allows for people to issue a stablecoin in exchange for something that they've given. And in our case, that's essentially people sending in waves to a smart contract, and then they immediately get USDN or Neutrino dollar in return. Now, we've launched that little over a year ago, a year and a few weeks, but we've seen an explosive growth in the last 2 months. So over the last 2 months, we've added a good 80 or 90 million in a matter of weeks to the total supply, and we currently have 127 million circulating supply. And the interesting part of that is that 98.5 million of that is sitting on ETH chain. So what we did over the summer is we said, okay, we're very confident on our product of Neutrino and how USDN works, but we know that because of its unique characteristics, we need to bridge that into Ethereum, because everyone's too focused on farming and no one's going to take the time to look and learn something new when everyone is making so much money. So we decided to step into Ethereum's ecosystem with and essentially with Neutrino, and essentially making that cross-chain interoperability for a dApp happen. And that really sparked the interest of many farmers, because we integrated USDN into Curve, and it has been the highest interest yielding pool since it got integrated there. And that's been over 2 months right now. And that's probably also what I'd like to explain. And I think we'll see more similar examples like that in the future. But I'd like to explain you why that is. And you also see that there's, I noted it down, there's 280 million collateral in waves. And what that means, and I tried to explain it here, but bear with me. So essentially you send in waves into a smart contract, the Neutrino smart contract. And the contract sends you back or issues newly issued USDN. So if I send in, let's say, 1,000 waves, and waves is $9 today, I will get $9,000 back from the contract. I no longer own that waves. That waves is no longer mine. So the waves is now owned by the contract. Now we are a proof of stake blockchain, a leased proof of stake blockchain. So it means that there's block rewards, which is around 6% per year. And these block rewards, they are paid out to the contract because the contract owns that waves. So there's like 34 million waves sitting in a contract right now, which is $280 million. Now, this value, this collateral, is generating block rewards. And these block rewards are paid out in Neutrino, in USDN, to those people who stake USDN. So not everyone is staking it, because a lot of people are trading it, using it to buy or sell, or in Ethereum's case, it's automatically, so we ported it essentially to Ethereum, but in Ethereum's case, the token is auto compounding. And I'd like to go back here. So as you can see, USDN in that list here, we currently have around like 11% yield, between 10 and 11% that we have right now. Some of the other currencies, they are backed by USDN, and they have a similar structure of staking. But there you get these higher staking rewards, because it's disproportionate. Not everyone is staking these currencies. So what's happening here is that this massive, let's say, boom that we've seen in Curve's pool, where we very quickly saw a large growth, is largely being created by the fact that this unique structure of generating yield for a stable coin hasn't been recreated yet. So, or it doesn't exist. And more importantly, it's sustainable, because the block rewards won't go away, and it's not based on borrowing or lending. So it's a system that will keep sustaining itself in the future. And the borrowing and lending yields can happen on top of that, which is something that we're working on in the next, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks. And we're seeing a very big traction with this. But more importantly, we're capable of offering a really unique structure to people who are very heavy into DeFi, very heavy into farming, but we can offer them a higher yield and a sustainable return in a different approach. And I think the mindset of what we've tried to achieve has always aligned very closely with what Tron has been trying to achieve and how they're approaching, let's say, their presence in our space, and that has made it such a fun collaboration over the last few months. So I'd say maybe, and I put it here, happy 20K day. I think maybe as a closing message, I'd like to let people who maybe have joined more recently, let's say a year ago or over the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe the previous bull run. I think if someone would have told me maybe 8 or 9 years ago when I just found out about Bitcoin that we would ever cross 20K, I would want to believe them, but I wouldn't believe them. And I think it's a big day for people to sort of soak in. It's not necessarily about the price. It's not the fact that we will go to 50 or 100 or 5K, but it's more about the fact that as an industry, we're starting to be successful and we're achieving what we want. And I think Tron is on a very good run on achieving their goals. And I think we can probably say the same for what we're trying to achieve with Waves. And I think I can pass on the word back to where we started.
Very much, Steve. Thank you very much. So happy 20K days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Great.
But I'm not sure. Maybe it's 21 already because I couldn't check while speaking. So.
But anyway, it's a milestone, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I mean, it's very
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we hope public chains will play a major role in the global digital finance system, and also for good luck for Waves ecosystem. Good to know more about what you are going to deliver to the market. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
See you next round.
Yep. See you next time.
Yeah. So the huge market of crypto determines the variety of and the diversity of its derivatives. As an important part of it, exchanges are always under the spotlight as services across exchanges are more or less aligned. How can exchanges spot new needs for users? So product portfolios that are more diverse, distinctive, and at skills. So let's welcome Sierra Song, VP of Global Business of Huobi, to talk about the core competitiveness of digital asset exchange. Let's welcome Sierra. So Sierra,
hi everyone,
it's your
this
time.
is Sierra Sun. I'm glad to be invited to this event and have the opportunity to share with you guys today. So recently, there are a lot of stories circulating in the market, such as institutional players coming into the market, and as we all know, the DeFi craze. So today, I'll share with you how Huobi is helping users to get ready for this new trend of digital assets. So before we jump in, I'd like to introduce myself briefly. So my name is Sierra Sun. I'm in charge of Huobi's global market expansion, business development, and institutional business. So before jumping into crypto, I worked across Boston Consulting Group, Deloitte Consulting, and Ernst & Young in financial analysis, strategy consulting, and corporate management. So first of all, I'd like to share with you the perspective of Huobi, and we have seen data on phenomena of Q3 and Q4 this year. So I've collected and summarized several keynotes to share with you today. Okay, so let's start with the data of institutional trading. So according to our recently review on institutional data, institutional trading volume has grown rapidly in November, which has accounted for over 55% of total trading volume of Huobi Global. And the volume of spot market has grown 75% and 100% on futures trading over the period of time. So in the beginning of 2019, when we first formed this business unit of institutional business, trading volume from institutions were only about 17%, and now, with only 2 years of time, it increased to 55%. So we have also seen a number of listed US companies and funds like MicroStrategy, Square, which is a payment company founded by Twitter's founder, and Stonebridge Holdings Group, just to name a few, that have announced to purchase a significant amount of holdings of Bitcoin. So these institutional players, statistically speaking, 23 listed company and funds are holding over 880,000 Bitcoins, which are accounting for over 4.2% of total Bitcoin circulating supply. So this is a distinct situation from 2017 as the new money capital rapidly entering into the Bitcoin market as intention to hedge risks with regulations improved worldwide. So now we see that customer structure has changed so much from 2017 until now. And it must be no news to you guys, like Grayscale's Ethereum Trust Fund has recently been approved by SEC, and this means more compliant channels for all money to enter. And just in Q3, Grayscale merely held 1 billion worth of Bitcoin, and that number went up tenfold to 10 billion. And Grayscale is currently holding over 540,000 Bitcoins, which is another positive impact that Huobi has successfully predicted in late 2019. We have expected to see more traditional finance institutions demanding for crypto asset services and products. So that's why we have established this business unit for institutions and brokerage services ahead to meet the market demand. So in terms of compliance and regulation, which we just talked about, is a prerequisite for big money and institutions coming into the market. Recently, Trends News have caught our attention, and I'd like to share with you our perspectives from exchanges. So both UK and the US have put into actions tightening the rules. Apart from UK banning sales of crypto derivatives, CFTC charges BMEX owners with illegal operating a crypto derivative trading platform and anti-money laundering violations. However, this can also be seen as a very positive signal as global governments are now giving more attention to the crypto asset trading market, and with the increase of trading volume, operations on crypto asset trading market should be operated under compliance and regulation. There is no doubt that only when the regulation system get matured, the market will be able to grow rapidly in a healthy setup. Apart from the trading business, Huobi has seen great potential in DeFi as well. The leverage of DeFi can be named in 3 words: computable, transparent, and disintermediation. People can hardly do any evil due to open source development and transparent operation. Every execution is transparent online for public review, which eliminates the risk of corruption. An institution can take a lot of money and flee with the fund in traditional form, but not with DeFi. Here, people trade without depending on personal credit, but on the algorithm. These trading costs and operational costs are fully computable and transparent through open source. DeFi is innovative. Liquidity mining really solved a lot of problems. I remember in 2018, there were a lot of smaller exchanges coming up, but a lot of them didn't really survive. Because of liquidity issue, order book issue, market making, they can't provide a good trading experiences for their users. Well, DeFi, DAX really solved this problem in a very innovative way. I'm very impressed by that. So DeFi has been developing for over 2 years, and now it becomes popular and people are rushing in because of the high annualized return as well. And the apps play an important role and strengthen the network. So you may sense the difference about this trend of DeFi. So we have seen how computable the smart contracts can be. So it can be working, just like Lego blocks. The smart contracts can be combined with each other's like different set of Lego. So for example, traders can take Ether for a certain amount of USDT to mine elsewhere. So this how compatible this is really transforming into a diversified ecosystem, and we saw that the compatible DeFi apps can accelerate and strengthen the network. So DeFi is a purely objective computing world. It is quite a different form of existing crypto economy. And compared to primary white paper fundraisings, the DeFi model is different. It is really a more fair and more transparent way to initiate a project. But as much as the potential changes DeFi has developed and delivered to our crypto economy in terms of money and user amount, there are still certain issues and risks we have to be constantly reminded. People are running into the market, fear of missing out. We saw investors staking their Ethereum for mining, but few really make real profit until now. So what type of risks and traps have been overlooked by many? So firstly, a huge blind spot people can overlook is the high operational threshold of DeFi, which I cannot stress this more than, as you know, it blocks away 90% of the targeting population. I've asked a lot of the crowds who worked in crypto, who has been trading crypto, how many of you has actually participated in DeFi? And I've only seen 10% or 15%. Those are already very targeted market that should be able to trade and participate in DeFi. But it just, the operational cost is very high. It's very not easy to operate. And there are many of you might have heard of DeFi, but from multiple occasions, I believe that many of you have been mining through exchanges without withdrawing the real asset to your wallet. So users who are not familiar with the operation in DeFi can accidentally put their assets in a wrong contract without any professional support and lose all their deposit due to a disoperation. They came into the market with the intention of earning profits but ended up with nothing. So and other things like some DeFi projects can be unreliable, where there are big opportunities, there can be scams and copycats. So people need to be able to tell what projects can really still survive in 5 years from now. And also, I've been receiving so many calls from my friends and my colleagues also in the space, and my partners, and asking, hey, can you guys really support wallets for DeFi, because I just feel not so comfortable with managing a decentralized wallet, and I don't know how can I trust them. I just feel not safe. Can you guys do anything to help us with that? We can't sleep tightly without worrying too much about the wallet safety. So with all that, what did we do in order to meet the requests from our users? There are several steps I'd like to introduce you to about several important DeFi interface page that have been provided by us recently. So users can get access to DeFi with low risk and better experiences. So turning this vision into action, in August 2020, we have established this InnoHub. So Huobi InnoHub is an essential part of Huobi Global's main page and the key strategy development of Huobi's blockchain ecosystem. We opened the past week with an open attitude, believing this move will provide opportunities to our users and high potential blockchain projects in various fields with low risk access. So this is really a new listing section. We list a lot of DeFi projects which we think are highly potential but with more risks involved compared to regular projects. There is a purchasing limit which we can help with lowering the risks for our users. And also those codes have been reviewed by us and contract has been reviewed by us, and we just generally believe that this can be a great project with higher opportunities. Recently, we have just announced early access to Huobi Ecochain, HACO, which EVM-compatible public chain that provides blockchain developers with an efficient and low-cost on-chain development for decentralized applications, smart contracts, and digital assets. Users of Huobi must be very familiar with multiple mining campaigns and liquidity mining campaigns we have offered to meet our community's demand. On October 12th, Huobi Wallet further gave access to CoFix interface. Is an advanced AMM protocol using a computable financial transaction model to eliminate major risk for market makers of Huobi. So a frequent question we have encountered or even be challenged is that CeFi have any further value or not? Or will decentralized exchange lose the game? So here I'd like to disclose some data that you can come up with and answer by your own judgment. So according to data shown in November, actual users of DeFi have reached 1 million, and CeFi on the other hand have tens of millions of users. And with DeFi, the DeFi craze, we've actually been able to make the highest revenue of Huobi in 7 years of history. and we just believe that DeFi and CeFi should really work together, and they are very complementary. And we just believe that a significant amount of DeFi profit were locked by centralized exchange, and we have released profit 100% back to our communities. And we have been playing a good role as a broker, a middleman to put in straightforward. We have set up DeFi labs to research on DeFi projects and provided all these amazing services to our community. And our global DeFi alliance aim to screen and select good DeFi assets for users to trade with very low transaction fee. So in addition, Huobi also provides ample financial tools to help users reduce the risk of using funds. So we as a one-stop platform that provides staking and DeFi mining for users to gain sustainable profit. In the meantime, users can do derivatives trading, so they can hedge the risk of asset devaluation while mining for profit. The year 2020 has been so hard for many people around the world, and this is the 7th year of Huobi. We have been operating business in this industry. We're so ancient in the industry, but such a baby compared to traditional business leads. We have been committed to users first value, and we pay close attention, listen to what the users are asking for, and we work really hard to protect users' assets. And I'm very proud to say that for the past 7 years we have been around, there has been no major security issue, and our customers' assets has been safe with us. We all know that this is a very hard record to break and to keep. We cannot done this without our very hardworking over 500 in-house developer technical team who has been working hard and working globally to support technical development, guarantee the platform safety, and our code wallet has been applied with multiple gated signature technology that does not rely on a single person's permissions and operations for large withdrawals. And very proud to say that our Chief Security Officer, he is managing over 200 people. We definitely have the largest safety security team in the whole industry. And with our stressful foundation and importance we see in security and protection, we envision to empower 100 million families worldwide to own crypto assets in the future. With our one-stop platform service in spot and derivatives market and blue ribbon trading experiences, Huobi ensures our users to trade safely without outrage under extreme market condition. So that's all I'm gonna share with you today. We are about to witness the next trend of crypto economy, and Huobi is ready. Are you ready to create history with us? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, we are ready to go with Huobi. Thank you again for sharing your speech here. And we live in an innovative world full of competition and heightened stress. So there will always be discussion over compliance and security in the global crypto ecosystem. Thanks again, Sierra, for your sharing here. As the innovation frontiers of financial technology, blockchain keeps interacting at a first pace. While the world's capital markets remain volatile, we are seeing a far-reaching revolution by DeFi in decentralized finance and the new business opportunities powered by blockchain. So what business opportunities will the riding ear of blockchain bring? So how should the exchange ride this thread? So let's welcome Marie, CMO of Gate.io, to unravel the new opportunities facing exchanges in the new year. Welcome, Marie. Hey, Marie.
Hi, nice to see everyone. I'm so excited to get started with you guys. Let me just plop up my keynote presentation.
Sure, it's your time.
Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Should I get started now? Or
Sure. Yeah, you can start. We can see your presentation here. Yeah, you can go with your slides.
Right. So, hi everyone. My name is Marie, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Gate.io. And today I'm going to be talking about Keychain, which is the public blockchain that we have launched and we are continuously improving. And I'm going to tell you why it's so important, and the way that I'm going to be talking. First, I'll be talking about Gate.io and the ecosystem and how much we've grown over the last 7 years. Then I'll talk about the Keychain development process. Then I'll talk about the Keychain mainnet, which we launched recently, earlier this year. And then we will talk about the Keychain development plan. So, Gate.io and the ecosystem. So Gate.io was established in 2013, and we have been, always growing as much as we can. We hit 3 million users this year, and we are serving in over 130 countries. We're considered one of the top 10 global digital asset trading platforms. We have a bunch of features, and we also, of course, launched futures and derivatives this year. Has been very, very exciting. One of the most important things to note is there is no fake trading volume on our platform. This is a big issue in the industry. We've not been talking about it so much recently because there's been so much other news, especially with Bitcoin going over $20,000 today. Congrats to Bitcoin, and congrats to all of you guys who hold Bitcoin. But this is a serious issue. There are a lot of, there's a lot of fake trading happening on a lot of other exchanges. All of the volume on our platform is real. And furthermore, another issue that we've seen a lot on other platforms is sometimes, you hold your coins and you don't really know what the exchange does with the platform, because when you use a centralized exchange, you are holding the centralized exchange custody of your coins. But we provide a 100% proof of collateral, so you are able at any moment to see where your money is. Which is not the case with banks, by the way, and is not at all the case with every platform. I would say almost all of the platforms, they don't provide this kind of transparency. And at our company, we're really focused on transparency and user security. Those would definitely be the top two things that we are focused on. And of course, we have a multi-ecological development to protect user assets. So we're always, like I said, we're always focused on security, making sure that the assets are safeguarded. A lot of exchanges have been through hacks this year. Some of them have recovered and some of them have not. Some of them you still cannot withdraw funds from those exchanges. And even though they say that you're going to be able to, it's likely that you're not. We have been through so many challenges since we got started in 2013. We know how to handle all of this, and it's been a really long time since we've had any of these kinds of issues because we've learned from, some of the previous mistakes. And one of the big things, of course, is how strong our tech team is. I can assure you that, we do our due diligence on a project, and the tech team is able to go really quickly and process that new coin being technologically integrated into our platform extremely fast. But that is not the best achievement of the Gate.io tech team. The best is that of Keychain. What is Keychain? Keychain is an innovative public chain that focuses on the safe storage and value exchange of blockchain technology, and it mainly solves the problem of private key destruction, loss, and digital asset theft, which are some of the biggest issues in the industry. We also have, in Gate.io, we also have block info, and this, provides and analyzes encrypted asset data for government agencies and lots of different kinds of parties. It's not really used for retail traders, but it's definitely something that we're capable of doing. And that says a lot. We've used this tool to be able to track down criminals and, really push things along so that, we can make sure that the cryptocurrency space is a space that is free from criminal activity. We also have Wallet.io, which is a secure and very easy to use wallet with lots of different functionalities. You have the standard one and the pro and the business. We always recommend, if you're trading, then trade on Gate. That's great. So many great things to do on Gate. But if you're keeping your funds safe and you're not